Hi guys, welcome to my channel again. So for the lower part of the gown, depending on how full you want it to be, you either double or triple your hip measurement, and then for the length is like the total gown length, and then you subtract the upper part. I would also write some descriptions on top of this video just to guide you. Okay, now for the upper part, you fold your fabric. Like, you could fold it all together into four, but you could also do it separately. And then you had 2 inches allowance, or 1.5, which would be to the back one, which would be for like your zipper button or whatever you want to use, like snap buttons. So that's what you can see in the diagram, right? Now you measure out your shoulder, what your shoulder measurement is, and you make sure you had like 0.5 inches to it for sewing allowance. If you like use a lot of sewing allowance, you can add 1 inches, just so that when you sew, like, you still get the initial measurement you want, right? I'm also going to add the measurements. I added it at the beginning of these videos, so you use the measurement of your baby or of the child or of your client. Okay, so now you measure the armhole. That's what I'm doing here. So what the armhole is, like, you take the tape around the armhole and then you divide it by 2. This way the gown won't be too tight, like at the armpit area. Now I'm measuring the neck, so I did 2.5 for the neck width, depending on what style you want, but for this style I did 2.5 for like how wide I want the neck to be, right? And now, so I marked 1.5 here for the depth. So this one would be for the back portion, so just watch closely, because I would cut the back and the front together at first, then I would add more inches to the front and then cut it. Okay, this is because I want the back to be higher. Like when the baby wears it, I want the back to be higher than the front. So you just watch closely. Okay, so that's just what I would do. I'm just marking it, and then I'll cut those ones and then add more inches, because I want the front, you don't want the front too tight, right? So I'm doing 2 inches again. So I did like 1.5 at first, you get, and then mark this one. So you notice when I want to cut it now, I would cut the 1.5 inches first and then cut the 2 inches. Okay, it all depends on the design you want. You could also add more, and when you're doing all this cutting, remember your allowances, like your shoulder allowance, because when you sew it, it would move up more, if you get what I mean. So I'm just cutting it now, and if you have questions, just drop your questions in the comment section, and I'll get back to you right away. Okay, if you've watched so far up to this stage, please subscribe, like, share. This would encourage me to keep creating more videos. Okay, so now I'm cutting the front, like the front part, so you can see what I did. We cut both together for the back, and then I want the front to be lower. You know, most gowns, like, the front is like lower than the back. So you see now, that's how it would look, and that's pretty much it. It's very easy. You also need to be creative. So what I'm doing here, I'm just slanting the shoulder just so it sits nicely. You know, if it's straight, it's just, it wouldn't be as nice as when you kind of slant it this way. It would help with the fitting. Okay, and you should use pins to secure while cutting. It makes your work neater, it makes it nicer. Okay, it makes it easier for you as well. So use pins, secure, and then you cut it. Okay, that's it. then you cut it. Beautiful. Okay, so that's it. You cut that one. Next thing, you measure what your bust or what the chest measurement is, and also remember to add your ½ inches allowance. So if it's like 22, for example, you divide it into 4, so that's like 11, then that's 5.5, and then you add ½ inches allowance, so that would be like 6, and that's what you would measure. And as you can see, we keep that extra 1.5 to 2 inches out, which would be for like the zipper, the buttons, or snap buttons, depending on what you want to do. Here, what I'm doing here, I'm kind of slanting the armhole, also for better fitting. So you kind of just go in by say ½ inches or 1 inches, and you curve it. Just watch closely and see what I'm doing. So just so the shoulder is not straight, right? And then that's just what I'm trying to do there. Okay. So now I'm just trying to cut the lining for the gown, for the upper part. So you just place your fabric on it and cut. So I'm using the same cloth as the lining just because I have extra, and you don't need a lot of fabric for a baby's clothes. So I'm just using the same fabric. Just make sure you note which one is your main fabric and which one you're using for your lining, okay? And then you just do that and then just cut it out, okay? Just as easy, just that easy peasy, okay? So now I'm cutting the lining for the back portion. I would advise you cut this independently, like individually, like cut like one part of the back so you can face it front to front and cut each one, because sometimes if you cut it together this way, especially since I'm using the fabric for the lining, you might get like two odd sides, right? So you just use your pins to secure it, and then you just cut it, okay? And I'm really trying to show all the steps. I could easily just cut those parts away, but I want it to be beginner friendly. That's why I'm showing you everything step by step, okay? These portions were just cut out for like the belt. I was just thinking of designs to make here, but that's pretty much how to cut the gown. Please stay tuned. I would show the sewing of the gown in my next video.